Hello, my friends. It's me, Karen Valentine, and I am back for another color along. This time, this is an image by Christine Karron. It is brand new and currently this month only available on her Patreon page through a Patreon subscription. And if you don't subscribe to Christine's Patreon, what are you doing? It is only $1 a month, and every single month you get a brand new image that she's done a full month before it goes full price into her Etsy shop. It is the bargain of the century in the coloring world, in my opinion, and really a great deal. So head on over to Christine's Patreon and subscribe if you don't already and get this gorgeous image. She is called Kitty Cuddles and she is absolutely beautiful. The whole page is just stunning. So when I decided that I was going to do this on film, I realized that I needed to break out some new color combos for skin. And because she's a dark-skinned beauty and I don't do very many of those. However, after trying several times with several color combinations, and failing miserably, because for me, in trying to use the darker pencils, they just were not blending right. The colors it wasn't pretty at all. So I did come up with a color combo that is definitely darker, and I think is going to be perfectly appropriate for this page. I really actually think it's a very beautiful skin color, and I'm going to show you. That's my test page. And so this is the skin color that we're going to do. It's not super dark, but it's not super light either. So I would call it a mid-dark skin tone. And I actually think it's really pretty, and I think I'll probably be using that a lot more frequently now. So that is what we are going to do. So I've pulled out the pencils that I'm going to use for this. And I did want to show you, because I do so many portraits, I got tired of constantly going to all of my different colored pencil containers. So I used one of my tins, and now I keep all of my portrait pencils all together in one spot so that I can just pull out the tin. And this works really, really well for me to have a separate container for just my portrait pencils. So, okay. So we're going to start. Let me get this sharp. This one may take a while because we're going to do a lot of very, very light layers. So I'm going to zoom in. Let's see, where's the best? We'll start there, and hopefully I can remember to push the picture up before we go down too far. Okay, so we're going to start with burnt ochre, and we're going to do a very, very light layer all over except for the highlights, which would be the middle of the forehead, the front and top of the nose, you know, the typical areas, chin, cheekbones, etc. So away we go. For this, I'm going to use a pretty steep angle with my pencil, which is easy when you have a brand new pencil with a really long shaft. It helps to control the pressure for me and allows me to get a little bit lighter look and a little bit more consistent. So this just goes everywhere, again, except for where you're going to put your highlights. And again, if you can, try and use small circular strokes. I think my next practice project is going to be trying to achieve that darker skin tone that I was after using pan pastels, and see if I might have better luck, since they go on so smoothly. And I think those might be the answer. Vicky from Coloring with Vicky did a pan pastel page doing a darker skin tone, and so it turned out gorgeous. So I'm thinking experimenting with those might be the way for me to achieve that skin color without the frustration of trying to do it with colored pencil. Because I probably printed this image 4 times, starting over and over and over, because the color combos or the technique I was using just was not working. But I was determined to find one that I would really like, and I found one. It's just not as dark as I thought it would be, or hoped it would be. I don't know if you could hear Cooper whining in the background. His papa just got home, and this is how he carries on every time my husband Steve comes home. He just runs around and barks and whines like he hasn't seen him in days. He's definitely a daddy's boy. Leave a white line down the center and on the tip of her nose. Top of her cheeks. Oh, he's just carrying on. Okay, let's come up here. We're gonna leave that little V. I'll leave that alone for now. collarbone. We had a interesting thing happen the other night. Cooper was outside, and all of a sudden he started barking like he was very, very, very excited. So my husband went outside to see what he was barking at, and came back in right away and said, "Hey, get your shoes on, come out here, you're going to see this." And so I did, and went out there, and we brought the flashlight outside with us, and he shone it up into a tree just on the outside of our property. And sitting up there in that tree was a bobcat. Now, we live in the city, well, in the suburbs, but we don't live at the base of a mountain or out in the desert like a lot of people do in this area. And so I have never, ever, ever seen a bobcat in our neighborhood. And it was a young one. I'm pretty sure he was a young one. He was very cute. He was, smallish. He's probably about the size of Cooper, who's a Welsh Springer Spaniel. So you can kind of picture what size he is. But he was just sitting up there in that tree, just chilling, watching what was going on down below us. I don't know if Cooper, scared him up into that tree, or if he was already in the tree. But it was really cool to see, wildlife like that. We occasionally get small coyotes running in the neighborhood, but I've never seen a bobcat like that. So that was pretty cool. My husband, we came in and brought the dog in the house, and he went out to go put some water out there for him. And by the time he filled up the container and went outside, the bobcat was gone already. So hopefully he was on his way home and back out into the desert. Okay, so now we're going to use Clay Rose. And we're going to use that just kind of on the outer edges, at least for now. I don't know if you can still hear him whining and crying or not, but that's because Steve has gone out back and Cooper wants to go outside and play, and he's in the house. So he is not a happy boy at the moment. So with this one, I found I had best luck doing lots and lots and lots of light layers. So that's what we're going to do. So it may be, I'm not sure how long this is going to take. Alrighty, next color. Parma Violet. And we're doing that on the outer edges, but also in some of the shadows, like around her nose. Under her lip. So I'm kind of excited about next weekend. One of the Facebook groups that I belong to has asked me to do a tutorial, a skin tutorial, and I'm going to do it using Facebook Live in the group, which I've never ever done before. So I'm both excited and terrified because I'm not sure. I haven't done Facebook Live before, so hopefully, as long as it just is a pretty easy and user friendly, and I can just go live and color and set up my iPad so I can watch for questions or comments or whatever, then I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm kind of excited about that. Okay, I want to do just a little bit on her nose. I really shouldn't talk while doing new to me skin colors because I know I'll mess up. All right, did I do, let's see, let's put a little bit of shadow right here. Right here. This is going to get covered up anyway, but it all helps to add to the color and look of the finished piece. Okay, back to Clay Rose. We're going to do that on the outer edges, but we're going to work it into the center of her face a little bit more. And what I'm trying to do is just sandwich all of these colors in between each other so that they blend nicely in the end when I go to do all of the blending. And it's almost so light that I'm just letting the weight of the pencil in my hand do the work. Alrighty, let's do Terra Cotta. And for this, we're going to do it all over the whole thing, again, except for the highlights. It's just this is as light as I can possibly go, and I'm I'm trying to smooth the transition between the highlight and the rest of the color. So it looks like the highlight is getting smaller and smaller, but the color of the pencil around it is so very light that I'm pretty sure as we blend it will it'll give it a nice transition, hopefully. Hopefully. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of working in long ovals rather than small circles here. It just seems to feel comfortable. So it's not back and forth, it's long ovally strokes. Just kind of looking at it, seeing if I want to add another light layer before we move on to the next color. I think we'll move on. We can always go back. Alrighty, next color is Chestnut. And that's mostly on the outer edges of the face. I don't know if you can hear that noise outside. That is a tractor that my husband just rented for the weekend, and he is in the process of building his dream shop. He loves to build cars, old classic cars, hot rod, muscle cars and stuff like that. So we actually bought this house because it had property big enough to accommodate the building of a shop for him. And we've been in this house for over 20 years. And he's just now seeing it come to life. The building is up, and now we're just kind of doing some of the other work to get it usable. Got to move some dirt around and stuff like that. So he's in a happy place this weekend because he gets to play with big boy toys. Realize that I've been forgetting all kinds of parts right here. So I'm just gonna throw down some color real quick. Burnt ochre, terra cotta, just get some color there. Okay, back to chestnut. Next, light umber, and we're going to do that all over. I might start blending a little bit of it into the highlights, very, very lightly though if I do, so we'll see. So I've started to fill in the chin very lightly, kind of building up the layers so that it's darker on the outside and it comes lighter and lighter and lighter until we get just the tiniest little circle right there in the center of her chin that I'm going to leave alone. And hopefully when I blend it, it will do what I want it to do. Kind of make her chin look like it's sticking out a little bit with a little tiny highlight right on the end. I'm going to try and go very, very lightly into this highlight. Because we want a real smooth, gradual transition. So again, right here, I'm putting the lightest bit of this color on top of the white because we don't want a big, heavy, stark white highlight on her, on these areas. So we want them to be lighter for sure, but we don't want them to be white. So just a little bit of that color blended up into the top of the collarbone and the tendons in her neck there, I think. All right, debating on whether we're ready to start blending, or if I want to add some more Terra Cotta. Of course, we can always do that after we blend. So let's go ahead and blend. We're going to blend with white. This is not going to be the last layer. We've got more layers to go after this. So we don't want to press too hard. Let's start in the areas that you want to be the brightest. think for this, little tiny circles is probably pretty important. So we want to kind of smush all those colors that we've put down together. And make them as smooth as we can. Let's go ahead and do down the center of the nose. So by adding that little bit of color up into what is the collarbone and those tendons, I think what winds up happening is we get a more natural looking highlight rather than a strong heavy line of white as the V and as the collarbone. Now it looks more like you know, the skin color, and then the light is just hitting the top of it. And I might even go over some of that with even a little bit more color, just so that it's not quite so white. Is not sharpening. There we go. I don't want it super sharp for this because obviously we're pressing a little bit harder than, a lot harder than we were before. I don't want it to break, but I do need to have some lead on there showing. Alrighty, let's just blend it. All right, I'm going to do some black grape. That is going to go just on the outer edges. Oh, you know what I forgot? I want to do some cheek color first. So there's Chestnut, I think. Or do I want to go pinker? All right, I'm gonna put some here just to see. Yeah, that's not gonna be pink enough. So what do I want? I didn't pull out a cheek color for some reason. Should we try Henna? That might be too dark. Let's try Nectar. It might not be pink enough either. Henna. I also forgot to blend her nose, so gotta do that. All right, so that was Henna. I didn't blend the bottom part of her nose yet. And I'm gonna, do I want to use white or do I want to use my blender? I think I'm going to use my blender. So let's keep going with the black grape. Alrighty, I'm gonna need to add some more darker colors up there, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, I'm going to take my light umber. I feel like she's, oh, that may not be dark enough. I don't feel like these shadows are dark enough yet. Let's try, maybe just we'll do a combination. This is Clay Rose. We'll just build up some and okay, I think I'm gonna take my black grape. This is kind of the we're kind of at the point where I'm going to just be switching back and forth through pencils a lot here, because this is the point where I'm going to start fine-tuning everything, and so just bear with me. I'll try and let you know what I'm doing throughout the process. More black grape right in here, real lightly though. And a little bit more under the lip. And Now Espresso. That's also going to go on the outer edge. To apply this very lightly because I think a little will go a long way. Alrighty. Now I am going to open up a new Caran d'Ache blender, which was a gift from the lovely and generous, fabulous friend, Kenny. And it was among many fabulous gifts that she sent me, which I will show you in another video. That was a wonderful, wonderful surprise. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of blending with this blender. It's like a dream. I love this blender so much. probably should have my duster brush here rather than using my hand. It's a bad habit that you guys should not do. You should use a brush. Okay, I feel like that is a little bit too orangey looking. So, what did I not put there that I put everywhere else? I don't know. Don't remember. So this is a little bit of chestnut. And you know, I don't think we blended with white there, so maybe that will help. Yeah, that helped. Alrighty, so a little bit of fine tuning. We need to get some color on the tops of her eyelids. And I think I'm going to use clay rose for that. think I'm going to go around with some chestnut and just, I don't know, just do a little bit of I don't know what. I just feel like that is what I want to do. Sometimes I don't have a good reason. It's just a feeling. Clumsy with my pencils today. All right, I want to put some burnt ochre. I'm going to try burnt ochre. Just under her nose. Let's get, I have black with me? Of course not, so maybe we try espresso. Okay, and this is still the burnt ochre. Which I'm not sure we need, but I kind of like how it adds a little bit more of some orange, another layer, dimension of color. This is just white for blending. Okay, is her hand, I feel like maybe her hand is not quite dark enough. So this is the burnt ochre. Because when you add white and you use it to blend, it does, it's not necessarily just lighten, but it can put a cloudy, milky look over things sometimes. And so after I blend with the white, because I do like what it does, sometimes I'll go over it again with a light layer of another color to dissipate the cloudy look that it gives. So now I'm just debating on what else I want to do. If I want to blend again, this is light umber. We might need some more dark umber or espresso. I think we'll do espresso. Let's try. Better. Alrighty, I think we are ready to do some eyes and lips because that changes everything. This looks a little bit too white and milky down here. Before I do that, let's do some burnt ochre or Sienna Brown. Which one? Not Terra Cotta. Okay, so burnt ochre, Sienna Brown. I'm thinking Sienna Brown. And so just really lightly okay, let's put some lips on her. For that, I want, I think, Mahogany Red. All right, so for her lips, I'm gonna put down some white first. And then Nectar. And this is kind of always my base color, the white and the Nectar. And then after that, I can change the whole look of the lip by depending on what color goes on top of that. All right, let's do some henna, I think. When I do lips, I always do them with lines rather than circles or just coloring. If I just build up the color by doing those lines, because I think it helps to replicate what a real lip would look like. All right, now let's do some Mahogany Red. All right, I want to add some espresso under her lip. There's too much purple there. And maybe blend that out a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, let's do some eyes. I'm going to start with light umber. And then I want, do I want sepia or dark umber? I think dark umber. So I'm going to work from the outer edge in. And now espresso. And some black. And I want her pupils to be really black. So I'm going to use a fine liner. This one is 0.1. Any little fine liner will work. Let's see, I need my little Posca pen. I'll get that in a minute. Okay, for the waterline, I'm going to use Rosey Beige. I hope I wasn't out of frame for that other thing. I'm afraid I might have been. Okay, there's Rosey Beige. Oh, see, I keep pushing her up too high. I'll do covered up a little bit too much of that highlight, so I want to put just a little bit more right there. Right there. Okay. Alrighty, let's do the rest of her eyes. I feel like I need there's a little bit too much white under her eyes. And I don't know what I want to do about that. Clay rose might be wrong. Yeah. So let's try. Hopefully you guys filled yours in better than I did mine, and you won't have to do this. Sienna Brown, I'm afraid is going to be too. Well, let's do it on both sides, so that they're the same. We'll do Sienna Brown, we'll do a little clay rose, because really I kind of did forget to do the shadows under the eyes, so we can get that done. All right, let's see what happens when I blend that. need to do a little bit more over here. What color do I want? Sienna Brown. There we go. Okay. Back to what we were doing. So I'm going to do a little bit look. Of course. Can't do a portrait on camera and not forget the ear. That would just be out of character. So burnt ochre, clay rose maybe. Clay rose. That's probably good enough, but I'm looking for my Terra Cotta. It should be out. I used it. There we go. I don't even think we have to blend that. I think that's just fine. Yeah, let's do a little bit of better shading in her little, they're not really dimples. I'm not sure what those are called. A little area of shadow right there. That's good. And then I think we'll try some black. Just a touch. Alrighty, I want to do some eyebrows and then and maybe some fingernails, and then we'll be done. Okay. I'm really happy with how she came out. She's actually a little bit darker than than my test page, so it just goes to show, depending on your, you can use the same color combinations on 2 different pages and get 2 completely different looks just in the amount of each color that you apply. Let's zoom out a little bit. We're a little bit tight now, I think. That was Espresso. And this is black. Wow, I am really, really pleased. What color do we want to do her fingernails in? Chestnut, Terra Cotta. How about Mahogany Red? Or Henna. Oh, I like Henna too. Let's do her fingernails in henna. All right, I'm just kind of staring at it now, looking to see if there's anything that I want to fine tune. Christine draws the prettiest faces. At this point now, truly, we're probably finished, but I am such a fiddler that I'm gonna fiddle some more. I'm really pleased with how she came out. Let's zoom out. There we go. There is her skin. Done. Alrighty. That was fun. I'm really pleased. Here's the test page that I did. And then here's her skin here, and you can see it's slightly a different tone. So definitely pleased with how she came out. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. I'm not sure how long this video is going to turn out to be, but it's probably not too bad. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again. And thank you for all of your comments and support and love. It means the world to me. You guys take care of yourselves, each other, and happy coloring. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.